What's good, Commander Fans? Just want to make a quick video here just talking about J.K. Dobbins and the Tush push that most likely will be banned today. There are already some reports saying that it is going to be banned, which is great news. But I do want to talk about J.K. Dobbins here real quick. So this is from NFL Rumors, so I probably will put up a picture. I'll probably edit that in and just put up a picture of the page on Twitter. Now, I remember I cited something from Chad Forbes a couple weeks ago, talking about the Commanders having interest in Von Miller. At least we had a name to the report. At least Chad Forbes put his name out there. NFL Rumors is just a page. They can put out anything they want to put out and kind of aggregate or regurgitate from whatever website that they read it from, whether it's ESPN, Bleacher Report, ESPN Plus, The Athletic, like all the major sites that come out with information about interest and sources and stuff like that. So like I said, you really got to take this with a grain of salt, but we are in the dead part of the off season. Like, we have OTAs coming up, and then I think they take another break, and then they have mini camp. I got to look at the Commanders off season schedule, but I am pretty excited for mini camp or OTAs that is coming up. I do want to pull up the schedule here real quick so I can just be correct with the information that I'm saying. So May 27th through the 30th, which is next week, is phase 3 of OTAs, and then June 2nd to the 6th is another form of OTAs, and then June 10th to the 12th is mandatory minicamp. So I will be paying attention to who is there at the voluntary OTAs, who's not, and of course everybody has to be at minicamp June 10th to the 12th, I believe. So that's definitely what I'm going to be paying attention to for sure. So all right, so let's talk about J.K. Dobbins. So there's rumored interest. I don't really think it's true, but I do like J.K. Dobbins. I will say that for one thing. J.K. Dobbins is a dog. It's just the injury history, man. It's the injury history that got him. And if you have to argue who's the better back, or who's the more talented back, who's the more elusive back, who's the more explosive back, who's more capable of hitting a home run, who has better vision, it probably is J.K. Dobbins compared to Brian Robinson. Now, I didn't even know that J.K. Dobbins went to Ohio State. So you would have another Ohio State Buckeye on the team, including Terry, Marshawn Lattimore, and a couple other guys. Jalen Holmes went to Ohio State as well. So that would be nice too. J.K. Dobbins was a former second-round pick. Now, last year, he had a really, really good – he had the best year of his career. And B-Rob has never surpassed 900 yards in a season. And J.K. Dobbins surpassed 900 yards last year playing in 13 games. And we look at Brian Robinson's stats. Like I said, like I always tell you guys, I'm not here to bash B-Rob. B-Rob has never passed 800 yards in the season, which is not good either. He played in 15 games, only got 733 yards in the season, which is, it's not bad. It's just average. Like, he's just average. B-Rob is average. He's a middle tier running back. Like I showed you guys the stat a couple days ago, for forced missed tackles and whatnot, or broken tackles. Last year, he was ranked 27th out of 31st per PFF, which is awful. But like I said, B-Rob's he's not terrible. Now you look at some of the things that J.K. Dobbins did. He was 22nd for forced missed tackles. And J.K. Dobbins played in 13 games, and B-Rob played in 14 games. So in one less game, J.K. Dobbins forced more tackles than B-Rob by, I'm not going to say a significant amount, but it was by a pretty solid amount. There's a pretty solid difference in forced missed tackles that J.K. Dobbins did. Explosive runs. He had 27 explosive runs of 10 yards per or more, and J.K. Dobbins was 11th on that list, and that's really good. Now, coming out the gate, he had a really good game against the Raiders. Their run defense was not great. Then he had a really good game against the Panthers, and their run defense is not great either. Another thing that I love about J.K. Dobbins, he had 0 fumbles last year. 0. Now, B-Rob he's not known for fumbling. That's one thing that I do like about him. When we moved on from Antonio Gibson to B-Rob takes care of the football. The only time he fumbled was twice, and that was against the Eagles. So I don't have a problem with B-Rob's ball protection of protecting the football. Now, B-Rob's explosive runs of 10 yards or more, he had 19, which was ranked 25th, compared to J.K. Dobbins, who was ranked 11th with 27. So J.K. Dobbins had 8 more in one last game. J.K. Dobbins, you look at his game log as well, and how he played. Let me pull up his game log, because like I said, he went off against the Raiders last year, and then he went off against the Panthers last year, and he was second in voting and comeback player of the year last year. He had 135 rushing yards against the Raiders, 131 against the Panthers, 96 rushing yards against the Denver Broncos, who have a really good defense, 85 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns against the Browns, 76 rushing yards against the Patriots, 63 rushing yards against the Vegas Raiders, 57 against the New Orleans Saints, and about a touchdown. So him and B-Rob were pretty similar against the Saints. So B-Rob had 60 yards against the Saints, but he had a bunch of carries, and then the Saints run defense actually did a pretty good job against both backs. But there were some games, of course, where J.K. Dobbins wasn't great. He had 44 rushing yards against the Steelers. Their run defense was really good. They shut down run offenses a lot. The Chiefs' run defense was solid last year. He had 32 rushing yards against the Chiefs rush defense. 50 against the Titans, where B-Rob had a better game that game. But my point is that if you do bring in J.K. Dobbins, ran a 4.4 40-yard dash as well. Now, let's go over the injury history with J.K. Dobbins. These are the cons for J.K. Dobbins. He has a long list of injuries. Now, he got injured at FedEx Field when it was FedEx Field in the preseason, where it's now called Northwest Stadium, against us. And that was the game where Tyler Huntley, when he went off. Like, his sliders went up, the game sliders went up. He had a game breaker. He just turned into a 99 overall preseason player in that game a couple years ago when J.K. Dobbins got injured. And they beat the Skins or the football team by like 30 points in the preseason game. Now, 2016 in high school, he had a fibula fracture. Ohio State, he had a high ankle sprain in 2019. 2021, he had a thigh hamstring tear. 2021 with the Ravens, he had an LCL tear. He had a meniscus tear in 2021 with the Ravens. He had an ACL tear in 2021. He had a 2023 Achilles tear with the Baltimore Ravens. Then he had an MCL sprain in 2024 with the Chargers, and that's why he missed time. But he did finish the season. Don't forget the Chargers. They just drafted Amarion Hampton. They signed Najee Harris. So he's basically out of there. Now, they did sign him to an unrestricted UFA tender, unrestricted free agent tender. Elijah Moore was signed to one as well, but Elijah Moore, I believe, ended up signing somewhere else. Now, basically, the tender value is worth 110% of the player's previous salary. So he would get like, what was his salary last year? It wasn't much at all because of just all the injuries and whatnot. So he would... J.K. Dobbins, he signed a 1 year, basically a $1,610,000 deal last year with the Chargers, and that's basically what he would get here. Now, you look at it from the team standpoint, that yes, we do have JCM, we do have B-Rob, we have Chris Rodriguez, we have Austin Eckler, we have Jerry McNichols. If they do sign J.K. Dobbins, somebody's going to have to get released. Their carry is going to get diminished. Somebody's going to be unhappy. We already saw B-Rob come up with a tweet, keep that same injury. If you're bringing another back that's at the same talent level or tier level of him or better than him, which I do think J.K. Dobbins is better than him if he's healthy. If he's healthy is the big thing. That's the big thing with J.K. Dobbins. The same thing with Nick Chubb. Some people are talking about, let's go sign Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has had some significant injuries. It's not like just a wrist injury or arm injury. It's legitimate ACL fibula with him and J.K. Dobbins, Achilles tears and whatnot. That's why J.K. Dobbins was in the running for comeback player of the year, because of all the injuries he suffered over the past couple of seasons. He played in 1 game in 2023, 8 games in 2022, and then no games in 2021 because of the preseason injury against us at FedEx Field. And then 2020, he played in 15 games. You look at the yard, he had 9 touchdowns in 2020, 9 touchdowns in 2024 as well. Out of the backfield, not going to give you much out of the backfield, but J.K. Dobbins is capable. If he gets the football in his hands, man, like he can make some shake and make guys miss for sure. He's definitely capable of doing that. Yards per carry was 6, and the yards per carry was 4.6 this past season, where B-Rob averaged 4.3 yards per carry in 2024. The most yards per carry that B-Rob has averaged is 4.3 in a season. He had 4.1 in 2023 and then 3.9, which is about average. Like, it is what it is with B-Rob. He's just average. He's just average. He's just mid. And I'm not saying mid is not good or average is not good, because there's some games where B-Rob is like, man, B-Rob's a dog. He's getting it done. The Giants game, the Panthers game, the Titans game, the Cardinals game at the Cardinals where he blew the Cardinals out. There's a couple games where you can look at B-Rob in the Lions game in the playoffs. You're like, he was a dog tonight. You're like, we don't win this game without him. But you just look at Jaden Daniels should not have to lead the team in rushing in every game. Same thing with Marcus Mariota when he comes in. That should not be happening 8 out of the last 9 games of the season. Your running back should be able to get you 80 yards. And Jaden was having to run for 100-something yards against the Falcons, the Eagles. Like, there's games where he just had to put the Superman cape on and be Houdini and just take over. And some of that is on the offensive line, but I showed you guys that stat too, where the offensive line, the run win rate, the run block win rate where the offensive line was top 5 last year. They were top 5. So J.K. Dobbins, I know it's not realistic. We're probably not going to sign him. But like I said, if we did sign him, JCM, like Chris Rodriguez, they probably have to let him go and just be honest with him rather than just yanking him around. I'd probably just be honest with C-Rob and be like, hey, man, like it's a numbers game. We know that times that you played better than B-Rob last year in that Falcons game. And I feel like there's another game that C-Rod looked really good in, that Giants game too. But it's a numbers game. We got McNichols here. Eckler's not going anywhere. We just want to set you free like we did with, like they had to do with Jared Patterson a couple years ago and just let him find his way in the league. Now, Jared Patterson, I don't know if he's in the league or not anymore. But that's probably what they would have to do with a couple guys. Jeremy McNichols would probably be on the practice squad, and then the JCM, his role would be a little diminished. But you still want to get him acclimated. You still want to give him some touches because the talent is there, and he's better than the 7th round pick. So that's just the thing with J.K. Dobbins. I think he would be better next to Jaden. Just the speed, the versatility as well. I don't know if he's better in pass pro than B-Rob. I'm not sure about that. But if you play for John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, whichever Harbaugh it is, you got to be tough, man. You got to be tough. And B-Rob's tough too, man. Let me not fake on him, man. He is tough. B-Rob is tough, man. He was a Bama player for Saban. Like, he's a tough player. He got shot. So B-Rob's a tough player. We know that for sure. J.K. Dobbins was 13th in yards per attempt, 12th in rushing touchdowns, 21st in rushing yards. PFF grade 66.7, overall grade 66.8. So I mean, like J.K. Dobbins would be an upgrade, man. He would. Like, let's just be real here. He'd be an upgrade for sure. It's just the health. Like, would you give up on B-Rob to sign a guy that has not been consistently healthy? Like, if you're gonna move on from B-Rob, who's more of a sure thing, where you know what you're gonna get from B-Rob, you know you're gonna get 700 something yards. You know you're gonna get at least 7 or 8 touchdowns. He had how many touchdowns he had? He had 8 touchdowns last year. He had 5. He had 9 overall in 2023 with Bieniemy. He had only 3 touchdowns with Scott Turner, but he had 797 rush yards. So you know what B-Rob what you're gonna get. Like, you know what you're gonna get basically. Do you move on to greener pastures where you think the grass is greener on the other side with another running back this year, or do you just stay with consistency in B-Rob where you know you're going to get that 700-something yards? But you know he's going to be burnt out by the second half of the year. You know he's going to be moving in quicksand. He's going to have cement feet by game 8, game 9, game 10. He's going to probably, I hate to say it, but, just the wear and tear and being burnt out throughout the season. So those are the questions you got to ask yourself. Or do you stand pat with the running back room that you have, where you really like JCM, you do like Chris Rodriguez, you like Eckler as that third down back, that scat back, and then B-Rob is just your Mr. Consistency guy. Like, he's your I'm not going to say poor man, he's your common man version of David Montgomery. We don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs on the team, but you can have a couple of guys that can kind of simulate that role. Maybe JCM, maybe Austin Eckler at times in a pinch. So that's kind of like, I feel like what we're trying to go for, what we could go for with the running back room this season. So that's about it. But yeah, like I said, and it really originated from Matt Bowen's article that came out. Matt Bowen, he said from ESPN, he said free agent signings, trade acquisitions, draft picks have reshaped all 32 NFL rosters. And basically he said the best team fit for J.K. Dobbins is the Washington Commanders. Finding a deal fit for a veteran running back isn't easy at this point in the offseason, especially for a player with Dobbins' rich injury history. He missed 4 games with an MCL sprain last season, yet he still managed a career high in rushing yards, 905, and tied a career high in rushing touchdowns with 9. In Cliff Kingsbury's offense in Washington, I could see J.K. Dobbins providing competition for Brian Robinson Jr. As the early down runner, Dobbins can run between the tackles and has the juice to create big plays on the ground. He took 27 carries for 10 or more yards last season. So, yeah, J.K. Dobbins was balling, man. Like, but you look at the first 2 games of the season, he did really well. Then he kind of tailed off a little bit, like I said. And then, but he still had some really good games against the Broncos and the Browns and the Patriots as well, where he did have some good games. Now let's transition to the tush push here. So yes, get the tush push up out of here, man. It's not a football play, it's a rugby play. Just like Frankie Louvu said on Good Morning Football, if you can allow the guys, if in rugby where I think the ref, I don't watch rugby at all. Shout out to the Old Glory or whatever the DC team is. If the ref is allowed to blow the whistle and he's the one that starts the snap instead of Jalen Hurts doing a hard count and trying to make fun of and poke fun of the other team, sticking his tongue out and stuff because he knows the play is going to work, where they're just going to be, they're shoving him. It's not a football play. When you're just shoving a player and pushing his tush, pause. That's not a football play, in my opinion. It's just not, man. Like Frankie Louvu said, if you can start the play at the same time where everybody gets a fair chance to start and the defensive line gets a fair chance to start and push, then I feel like, okay, then that's fine. But where the Eagles, they kind of control everything and they know when they're going to snap it. And basically, what's their offensive lineman's name? Cam Jurgens. His head is over the football. Like if you zoom in, there's a couple of times where they're over the line of scrimmage and the refs are not calling it. Just the formation of it, it's just not a football play. It's a gimmicky play. It's an unfair play. Just run a fourth down play like we do. We were awesome on fourth downs. Jaden was running past me. We had to do a tush push. He was throwing the ball to Zach Ertz, throwing the ball to Diami, throwing the ball to Terry, running the ball with B-Rob at times. Jaden making something happen, making something shake where he just runs on the outside. Look at the 4th and 10 against the Eagles where he shook Jalen Carter out of his shoes and did the Allen Iverson crossover on him. So stuff like that. You have the best running back in the game right now, Saquon Barkley. It's either him or Derrick Henry, and y'all are not going to run a legitimate play, but you're just going to do a tush push with Jalen Hurts every play. 4th and 1, 4th and 2, just a cheat code play. So, yeah, to me, it's just not a real football play. There's no real thought to it. There's no real play calling to it. It's just pushing a guy forward where that is an illegal play where you're really not supposed to be pushing the quarterback forward like that. You're really not. So, whether it's the Eagles or not, I don't care if it was the Chargers or the Jaguars doing it and they were successful at it. It's just not a football play. And we're not going to do that with our guy because, of course, Jalen Hurts has, 50 pounds on Jaden Daniels. Or he has like 20 extra pounds on him. So Jaden Daniels just doesn't have the frame for us to really do that play like that. But he has the frame to run right past you and get a first down like he did against the Buccaneers and the Falcons. And Cliff got creative in his bag on fourth down. So I like seeing stuff like that rather than mindless cheating football where I'm just going to shove somebody and push somebody over. So thank you, Frankie Louvu, for doing that dive. And thank you for the Packers for bringing that up. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Hell's Commanders, peace.